We're drafting tonight, but we're also doing a little bit of a breaking news show. We've got 3 or 4 pieces of news we got to go over. This is like the whole week's worth of news on screen. If we need to reference anything, we'll pull it back up. But we've got 4 pieces of news. We have Rashee Rice, Darren Waller, Anthony Richardson, and a little bit of Caleb Williams talk. We won't touch on it too much, but the Fantasy Football Show Breaking News Edition, Late Night, Graveyard News Edition, plus Live Draft Edition begins right now. Hit that like button and file on in. First in the building tonight was a GC, followed by Rockout, followed by Prime, followed by Lunchbox, followed by Blackbeard, and follower Sick Nasty. Travis, I'm sure, is in here. Appreciate you all. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. Hit that thumb up button.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
On graveyard shows. Anybody miss this? Okay, go. Denny.
We built this, Smitty. We built this, Smitty, on graveyard shows.
I love my boy Denny. Denny was rocking out last night. If you missed that, I got that on my Instagram. It's a beauty. It's Songbirds, and then Bill the Tickler calls in and starts singing too, and it's great. It's on my IG. We've got some news to break here, or a little bit of news to break. Rashee Rice has spoken out since the incident for really the first time, other than like putting some cryptic IG posts up on his stories. All I can do is mature and continue to grow from that. This is a step in a better direction for me. Rashee Rice vowing to mature. But it doesn't really matter. Like, I know a lot of people are going to think, oh, this is going to be something that changes. Look, I mean, maybe it helps him in some way, shape, or form in terms of the NFL, cracking down on this non-exemplist idea, or I'm sorry, paid exemplist idea, which is certainly on the table. The NFL has the ability to say, hey, we got to wait till things work themselves out in the criminal side of things. The legal process needs to work itself out before we can actually punish you, but we can put you on paid leave and say, go handle it. We don't need you on the field or the distraction. And it's more about like, hey, we're still paying you. We're there for you, but you need to go take care of this. So there's maybe some thinking that something's coming down and he's trying to preemptively hit it with some, hey, I haven't said anything yet. Let me go ahead and make a statement. I will change my ways. Please don't put me on the exempt list. So this kind of makes me wonder if something's happening, or it could just be ironically it's time for him to say something. Or the Chiefs might have said, look, we got a lot of stuff going on. Can you please make a public statement? I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of it. I just know that there's still that likelihood of him going on the exempt list. And if anybody's expecting him not to miss at least half of a year, you're going to have an unfortunate, I would say an unfortunate situation on your hands. I think there's a chance this gets pushed into the middle of the year, or is there a world where this happens after the conclusion of the 2024 season? Sure, but I think that's a bad thing for Rashee Rice because he will be in his own head this year, playing somewhat badly comparatively to where he'd be if it was all behind him. And if he took his lumps, they did some sort of expedited trial, which he kind of has some control over, and at the same time, both sides are probably going at a certain pace slowly together, relying upon each other. There's no way to guarantee you could actually get this thing wrapped up before the beginning of the 2024 season, but it would be in his advantage to get the suspension out of the way so that he's only missing 1 year, not mentally missing 1 year like Kamara did with his situation. He said that it very much held him back because he's worried about all the legal stuff. He's in and out of courtrooms. And you want to deal with all this right now. You want to deal with it now, miss your year. Think of it like if you tore your ACL, you're out 1 year. Now he's going to be out mentally a year, kind of lose his his place on the team, then miss maybe an entire year after that. His career will be over to some degree, at least to where it could have, the heights it could have climbed to. So Rashee Rice, will find out more about that. This is awesome news. Anthony Richardson. I mean, we knew this is what it was. We weren't like worried about him at all, but it's always nice to hear a little bit of extra piece of news that it goes on a positive direction. Colts Anthony Richardson said his shoulder soreness is nothing to worry about. And this is exactly what we thought. He even had a huge back tattoo put on all over his back and shoulders, and some were saying that maybe his shoulder was sore from that. But we also have a guy that's not really had a full year. He's literally had 3 full games, and he's out there throwing the ball like crazy, trying to get ready for his first really, full season. He's going to play his literally 4th full game he's going to play, and he's overdoing it a little bit, not to the point where he's damaging anything. He's just, he's a little tired and fatigued from having to rehab and come back and not be as maybe advanced as he was last offseason in terms of being able to go out there and throw day after day after day after day. He's working up to it. Not a big deal. Doesn't even mean his strength is down. It's just like anything. It takes a couple weeks, maybe a month, and he's absolutely 100% fine. It was kind of refreshing that he said he was 95% there, which would indicate there's about 5% of him that probably is working on getting that fatigue to go away and subside. So that's all I attribute it to. He's going to have an absolutely monstrous year. There's no doubt in my mind that he's capable of a top 5 quarterback season. So get ready for Anthony Richardson. He's coming for everybody. All the doubters are going to be really upset at themselves if they, those doubting Donnies, if they walk away from his 6th round value. If anybody wants to get in the draft tonight, here's the link. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. We'll be jumping into a draft here very shortly after I get through the news. 50% match on your first deposit up to $250. So smash the hell out of that link right there. Code Smitty gets it done as well. We'll be drafting here in just a little bit. Let me pin that link in the live chat, and then we can get to drafting here in a second. So we won't jump in yet. I'll tell you what draft to get in, but you have to click that link, sign up. And if you don't get in on time or whatever, just sign up now so you're ready next time. Minimum of 10 bucks gets you in, and they'll match your first deposit up to 50%. So 10 bucks will get you $5. 100 bucks will get you 50. 500 will get you 250. 600 will still get you 250. 800 will still get you 250 because they'll match up to 50% on your first deposit up to 250 bucks being that amount that they max out at matching. Okay, so AR5 to the moon. And for those that don't know, there are now 3 5s. I almost have to redo this video somehow. I don't know.
There are 2 5s? JD 5, AR 5? There can't be.
Oh no.
They're gonna cross streams.
We haven't picked which draft we're doing yet. John says he never gets into his drafts. John, I could read your comment. I'm standing right here, John. I'm standing right here. Maybe if you just follow the instructions, John, you'll get in. Let's do a marathon $15 draft. We're not clicking it yet, so just hang tight, calm down, relax. I'll tell you when, and there's about a 10-second YouTube delay, so I'll tell you when. I'll wait 8 seconds, and then I'll fire the button off. And if we don't get in, we don't get in, but you can still draft alongside, John. Using this process together. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay, so we got AR5. Keenan Allen. I got this on my Instagram too. If you guys want to see this number here, so many Caleb believers are gonna be upset at me. They're gonna be upset at me. Here's footage of Caleb Williams. I've had this on my IG for a while, but Caleb Williams getting or overthrowing Keenan Allen and Keenan Allen is literally. I got a better clip of it right here, I believe. I think this is it right here. This is a better shot of it. But basically, Keenan Allen has to hold up and wait for the ball. Now, granted, it could be one pass. I'm not saying they throw perfect every time. Well, some people throw perfect every time. Look at this guy, JD5, just throwing missiles into the net. Look at that. Look at this, throwing missiles straight into that net, one after the other. And then we got this Well, the interesting part is when he pulled up like that. He pulled up. Let me show you one more time. As soon as he pulls up, I zoomed in and I enhanced the audio. And when I did that, you hear him say, "Hell nah." So after I posted this, we put it up. Everybody got really upset. They got really upset at me saying, "Oh, he's just throwing a pass. This is how they warm up sometimes." After I posted it, everybody got all upset. There was more footage that got revealed where a closer clip to it, made somebody zoom in or enhance the audio, and you can hear a "hell nah, hell nah, hell nah." He just kept saying it. And so I went back, got my clip, and if sure enough, you increase the audio, there it is. It's just another thing that, I'm sorry. Look, your boy doesn't believe in Caleb. You can keep getting mad at me all you want. You could say, what do you have against him? I don't have anything against anybody. Maybe he's a great person. Maybe someday he comes on the show and I tell him, we talk and we have a good conversation. I don't hate anybody, okay? But my job is to tell you whether I believe someone's going to make it, because otherwise you're drafting them. And so I will beat a dead horse from time to time when I run into stuff that I think will help further my argument to the people out there that are resisting. It is what it is. You can like him if you want. You can say, Smitty, I'm going to ignore you on this one. That's fine. I'm not mad at you. But there's a lot of reasons I'm worried about this situation. He hasn't looked really good lately in practice. There have been good and bad moments, but in the beginning, things looked good, right? He was throwing long passes. People were just running routes. It was kind of like doing layups at the beginning of a game. Once they started making it more complex, the defense started getting involved. Then there's a lot of potential INTs that occurred, and then there's this type of situation that pops up, and it just has us conversating about it. You guys can say whatever you want. If you like him, that's fine. Your boy does not believe that he will be the real deal. It is what it is. We'll find out later. We'll all circle back and have a good laugh if your boy Smitty was wrong on this one, and I'll be the first to admit it mid-season if he's firing off. Now, could he do well enough to stay in the league? Could he do well enough to do what Fields did? Provide all the receivers a lot of fantasy production from time to time? Sure. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be a bottom 5 quarterback and get removed from a fantasy football production perspective. I'm just saying he's not the guy they think he is. They needed to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and keep Fields, or they needed to draft JD5, but they didn't. They made the wrong choice. That's my whole thing. Darren Waller has stepped away. We knew this was likely to be the case. You can go listen to a couple of the things I put up on my Instagram about the song that he produced and dropped about his former NBA or WNBA girlfriend, and they broke up, and so he made a song about it. He's walking away. But let's, instead of like clowning on any of this right here or making light of a guy's life, okay, this is his life. I don't want to go there. Even if Caleb retired today, I wouldn't come in here and laugh. I'd say, look, no one's downfall should ever be celebrated. That's not the kind of person I am. That's not the kind of person I want in my live chat. We're not here celebrating someone's downfall. Now, he's in a good place right now, which is good. He feels good about himself. We can clown on his music all we want and good fun. But at the end of the day, I do want him to be in a good place. This guy struggled with addiction. There's no way in hell I want him going back down that road. He seems like a really, really good person. Darren Waller seems like a really nice guy. He seems to have his head on straight. I hope he doesn't have some sort of like he's going down some weird path or anything, but because he's going through the divorce, he's dropping the weird songs, but he's retiring. He's walking away at the age of 31, and said that he had a near-death experience that made him feel like if I died, would I have been happy with my legacy and where my life was at in the NFL and everything he's doing? And his answer was no. My only concern for him is that it always looks greener on the other side. The grass always looks greener on the other side. And he's going to potentially regret this because if his idea is that music's waiting for him, and this is just, again, this is not me being cold or harsh or overly critical It's just I think anybody listens to it, he's typecasted into being an NFL player trying to become a musician. That's working against him from the jump. Maybe if no one knew he was an NFL player and he dropped that song, somehow it hit different. I mean, I'll admit that. I think we're all looking for it in a weird way, right? When we see a NFL player or NBA player try and rap, like AB. When AB started doing his money, what was it? Money, more money. God, what was that? More money problem. What is this song? AB song. Ziggy. What is the name of Antonio Brown's hit? Ziggy. What is the name of Antonio Brown's hit single?
From Medium.com. In January 2020, Antonio Ab Brown debuted his first
single, Whole Lot of Money. Whole Lot of Money.
That has since surpassed 4.6 million views and 10 million global streams.
Yeah, but so you can make a whole lot of money off of a bad song because people are spreading it around. So maybe Waller, a whole lot of money, a whole lot of money. Maybe Waller's going to, be big like that. So maybe he gets the views and shares he needs. I don't know. But all I'm going to say is if he believes he's going to pop off into a very, very, very positive direction, it is my musically, sleeper analyst perspective that the music isn't going to hit. So he's going to be looking for, God, that didn't work. Now what? And his NFL career is going to go right by. You're not going to be able to jump back in taking a year off. So I wish him well. Let's give Waller a standing ovation. What a good person. I played in a league with him last year and the year before, I believe. So I think he might even be in the fantasy league this year that I'm in. So I haven't talked to him specifically, but I draft with him. And maybe we'll get him on the show. I don't know. Maybe we'll get him to perform on the show. But he's a good person. Does a lot for charity. I play in a charity fantasy football league with him. And I have nothing but respect for him, regardless of how I joke around about the music. So standing O for a player that I hope has a great career down the road. Whatever he may do, okay? We wish nothing but the best for everybody. Even Jimmy Garoppolo. Even Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan walked away from the game. Thank God I don't have to talk about him being a coach, and I would root for him. What's he going to do? Acting? I'll support Kyle Shanahan. Is nothing to do with any sort of negative outlook on a person's, life. That's it. Whole lot of money, whole lot of drafting going on. All right, jump in right. Oh, hold on. 5-4. Pull up the marathon. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to wait about 7 more seconds so we all get in the same draft with the YouTube delay and all. Okay, so that means you guys are getting my message about right now, and we all try and jump into the same marathon draft. If you ask me, what's the marathon, Smitty? I can't help you on that. You got to dig in and figure out what this stuff is. But we jumped in 2 more spots remaining. There's no excuse for John or anybody not to get in this draft. There's 1 spot remaining. It's been sitting there. It's sitting there. It's sitting there. It's been there for about 30 seconds total. This draft has been open for about 40 seconds straight. Drafting soon. Let's see who got into this draft. Let me put it on screen here, and we will get to a drafting. Now, what's the marathon? I'll tell you what the marathon is. The marathon's a fantastic little draft, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can pull up. Here we go. Marathon is essentially cumulative scoring all the way to week 17. So that's right up my alley. It takes out the matchups and that whole who's playing who. I mean, it does matter because you want your guys to score great the last week, but the matchups are a little different. It just adds a different component to it. And I love the fact that it's just a big total point league all the way to week 17. That is so my style. That is old school Smitty, old school scoring. Ray G's in the building. Yeah, if anybody says they can't get in, Rockout, Superfish are in almost every one of them. Ray G gets in every single one of them. So I don't understand. John says he's in. Okay. How do I get in, Smitty? Thank you, Rockout. Appreciate you. And I got 3 super chats. Whole lot of supers. We got Elvis dropping 1, Superfish, and Johnny. Appreciate you guys dropping your wattage on the screen. Thank you. Let me get rid of this so you guys can see who's available. Tyreek Hill is available. I'm on the clock. This is Marathon. This is Marathon Smitty. So what are you gonna do, pal? Let's go Jamar. We'll go to Jamar Chase. We'll do wide receiver. Okay, in the fives video, how about after the crossing streams explosion appears Garrett Wilson? What do you think? I think what we'll have a similar idea, and I like where your mind is at the end, the van pulls away, and you see him like in the back, and they're all unharmed, and Garrett Wilson is driving. Something to that degree. I don't know. Or they call Garrett Wilson and say, come pick us up. Our van's broken. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Very good idea, though, Superfish. I like the way you think. Like, he's going to appear at the end. I'm not going to touch the beginning because I love it. I don't want to. I'm just going to extend it. Johnny 2K, $5 hauler. Hey, Smitty. Been a long time listener on and off. Why off, Johnny? Why on and off? What did I do? Did I say something? Did I have too many Caleb videos? Been through a lot. He's telling me. I'm putting my foot in my own mouth. He's trying to explain it, but I'm interrupting him. I interrupt him even when he's throwing a super chat in front of me. I'm reading him and I'm interrupting him. Been through a lot the last few years. Appreciate your hard work and being there for me. Pray for me. Johnny, let's do better. One better, Johnny. We'll give you not only a Saturn shot, but we're going to give you a standing ovation, Johnny. I appreciate you, pal, and I'm sorry you're going through something. Let's roll, buddy. Okay? Let's have a great year. Let's win some championships, my guy. And let's send you we send you to Saturn. Let's do a mashed potato.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
A whole lot of Johnny. Johnny, appreciate you, buddy boy. Okay, next up is Elvis. Why are we people still drafting Rashee Rice on Underdog Fantasy? Because everyone's predicting, it's a good question, Elvis, but it's also a good reason for some people to. I'm not saying it's me. I'd rather just take a different player. But some people feel like, NFL ain't going to do shit. But it all comes down to really Texas, right? Texas law. But until then, if things can get delayed, maybe he plays the whole year. Maybe the suspension does come, but it comes in 2025. That's what I was saying earlier. You just never know. You never know. Appreciate you, my guy. Phone lines are open if anybody would like to dial into the show. Dial into the addict.shop phone lines, formerly Grindhouse. Do it live.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, I'm getting closer to being on the clock here. Johnny 2K to the moon. If you clicked Rashee Rice on Underdog with DeAndre Hopkins on the board, thank you for paying the rake, says James. Daniel dropping the super chat. Daniel says, Smitty got in Patreon. Did I make it in the draft? Yeah, everybody that's currently on Patreon. The first person was Melvin Torres, I believe, was the first ever Patreon. Everybody from Melvin all the way to anybody that signs up, probably, I'm guessing, I'm not 100%, but anybody that signs up between the beginning, so Melvin, to tomorrow night at midnight is probably almost guaranteed. Because I can tell by the flow, it's pretty much math, right? We're getting a certain wave of a number of people. I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna get a spot. Almost guarantee you're gonna get a spot as long as you sign up on the Patreon. Link is pinned in the live chat. By freaking midnight tomorrow night. Okay. On the clock. Whole lot of HN. Smitty got on the Patreon. Thank you. You did make it. Thanks again, Daniel. Appreciate you for dropping that. What's up, Travis? You're live on the Fantasy Football Show, my man.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, bro.
Good start to the draft.
Yeah. Can't complain with a whole lot of HN, a whole lot of Jamar. What did you think about that Caleb Williams? Look, it's funny because there's a couple Instagram commenters. I don't know why they follow me, to be honest, because all they do is complain. But it's like, oh, you post, like they just complain about everything I post. You post too much on this, you post too much, and it just makes me post more on that player. But it's like how, I don't know. Like I guess I'm trying to picture like what if JD5 was underthrowing receivers. What if I'd probably will be wanting to defend him. So I understand that there's potentially bias involved. I get it. I'm not a moron. However, hold on, I gotta.
Well,
I'm gonna go early on this one. Hold on. Damn. This is early, but I'm in a snipe territory, and his ADP's at right now climbed to 4.1 to 3.12. I don't mind grabbing Jalen Hurts in anywhere in the third round if his ADP lives in like that third round or 4.1 territory. But his ADP, I believe, is 3.12 right now. So he lives in round 3. I have no qualms taking him in round 3. I'm just not coming back. He's not coming back.
Yeah, like I said, someone took Josh Allen, so once that first QB goes, someone else is grabbing one. At least one.
Rock out got sniped hardcore already. He's got Puka and JT. That ain't bad. Ain't bad at all.
I was going to say that Caleb thing, wasn't it Keenan? Was it Keenan Allen before the draft? Was he the one that said something about can't bring that Hollywood around here?
No, it was a defensive player. Defensive player said that. Well, maybe he did too. Maybe.
Remember. Oh no, Keenan Allen was the one looking around, looking away from him or whatever.
Keenan Allen saw him for the first time when they met. He saw him walk by him, and instead of being like, "What's up, Caleb?" he kind of just like eyeballed him, and then he kind of like sized him up, and then he kind of went. It just looked like he was like, and then they saw each other again, and then they walked up and they dabbed up. But it was like, oh, yeah. I don't know. I just don't feel it. Maybe he's the most awkward person that becomes this elite player. And I'll admit it, man, that the vibes I got on his ability to lead and his ability for this all to work out. And you could just say it's a weird thing to think, oh, because you think you can't envision it, you're just going to like doubt him. But we got all the physical stuff too. Like, it wasn't like in college we have all of our questions answered. It's not like he was great against good defenses. It's not like he wasn't scrambling around too much, holding onto the ball too much. And it's not like we're seeing like glorious reports right now. Mm-hmm. And he's going to a team that fails to develop quarterbacks. So I don't know how people are confused by why you could have an assessment already. There's just a lot of...
Keenan Allen isn't going to put up with that stuff. He knows he's getting older. He wants to win a championship, so he's not going to deal with any crap like that, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not touching Caleb in a draft. I mean, would I grab, like, let's say in a super flex, like I got screwed at the position and I'm looking around and I could see myself making the attempt, but the problem is I like this idea of doing like a Fields and Wilson stack much later and then grabbing that elite non-quarterback where Caleb's going in the third round or wherever the hell he's going in a super flex, which is super high. Yeah. So anyway, these teams so far, got Bully tight end going at the 12 spot. I don't hate it. It could definitely be, we'll see what he does at RB and QB. But that 12 spot's got Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Kelsey, and Kincaid. So we'll have to see what in the hell happens here. We got Superfish with A.J. Brown, Barkley, Mahomes, and Dell. Love that. That's great. That's really good. Rock out Puka, JT, Jacobs, and Devontae Smith. I like that a lot. Jahmyr Gibbs, Olave, DK, and Lunchbox. Who you going with? You got 8 seconds. Don't time out. Isaiah Pacheco, okay. Tampa goes Diggs, Cup, Drake, and Hall. And then we've got Shubes is one of ours. Bijan, Ayuk, Neighbors, DJ Moore. And up the AC. Jefferson, Waddle, Sam Laporta, and who? It's kind of getting a little I don't want to say thin. And I could reverse engineer this and say to myself, like, should I went Cooper Kupp in AR5 instead of going Hurts and the guy I pick? We'll find out.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm necessarily going to feel that way. I think it's okay. I think if my player lands, there's a player I'm particularly looking at right here. Who's the good, or what is this? The God, the body. What does it say? I can't even read it. Okay, we got Mixon. That's not my guy. I mean, I'm going to do it. I go McBride. Total balance. This is kind of my favorite strategy, is complete balance. I'm not saying I have to go tight end there. I could go wide receiver or running back, but I like it. Got Hurts, McBride, Achane, Jamar. Total balance. Daniel says James Ridley, D-Hop, or Pollard. I don't know what that question is. Ridley, D. Hopkins by a mile. I don't know. You guys are maybe asking questions of each other. I don't know. Call into the phone line if anybody has a question. Go. Go. Rockout says 11. Hold on, I got 2 super chats. Rockout says got sniped already. Hardcore, I answered that one already. And then Rockout says 11 and 12 is playing bully on me. Terry McLaurin just went. Let's see. Ray G's got McCaffrey, Kyron, Josh Allen, Cooper, McLaurin. It's good. It's good. Yeah, that's fine. And then this 2 slot, that's not one of ours. he's gonna probably go 5 straight wide receivers. What's he gonna get? There, 5 straight wide receivers. Okay, we'll see you. I just don't know what. I don't know what he's doing. What's he doing back there? Now, I don't like a lot of these players here. I'm not feeling it. I might go. I'm going to go bully QB. I'm going to go bully QB, CJ Stroud. All right, hold on one second. 206. Where are you calling from? What's your name? 206. Where are you calling from? What's your name, pal?
Say it again.
Where are you calling from, and what is your name?
I'm calling from Seattle area. It's Woolsey. This is Woolsey Golf. Daniel.
Oh, Woolsey. What's up, Daniel? Daniel Woolsey.
Yeah,
Daniel
what's going on?
Woolsey from Seattle.
In the chat, we were asking. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. We were asking, what are the sleeper stacks out there for guys that are looking to, best ball stack really, really late in the draft? I know you guys are drafting right now, so I want you to ruin it, but.
Well, I mean, like, give me an example of what you're talking about. Sleeper stacks, like one of my favorite. Let me give you this stack. One of my favorite stacks out there is when you, like, let's say you have these people that'll tell you gotta, if you draft Jamar Chase, or you gotta go Burrow or whatever, or if you draft whatever. I very much am okay with taking, like. Let me put it this way. This is, I guess, always my example. If you say like Bijan and then MHJ and then Hurts, right? And people are like, wait a minute, you need AJ Brown and Hurts, but then you take, this is not focusing. Hold on. But then later on, in like a kind of a miniature bully stack, because you already have Hurts, you take another player here, and then you get Kyler Murray later on. So I love that I have Kyler and MHJ, and it's not even a part of my QB1. You know what I mean? Like, those are some of the stacks that I like to deploy differently than other people. And, like, I'll develop a stack later when it looks like I'm not stacking at all. But that's just one kind of cool approach that I think that is understated. An example of that would be like, Example of that would be like, I could take Goddard or Schultz later. I could take both of them, and now I've got my QB stacked to both tight ends. I could have took my plan was to maybe take Burrow later, but I don't think that's. It would be fun to try the 3 QB. We did a couple of those last year. There was one 3 QB team I made that I swear I was gonna win it. I was gonna win it. It didn't, but it was such a good team. I think we got hit hard with injury. I forget what that team was. I want to go find it. It was 3. We drafted 3 QBs in the top 5 rounds.
I remember that, yeah.
And it was like just a glorious team. It shouldn't have happened. It was one of those teams that should not have happened. I never was able to replicate it again. It was crazy, stupid good, and it didn't make sense. It was like the right draft slot. I took 3 QBs. I took I want to say it was like Hurts, Mahomes, and Burrow. And then Burrow got hurt, and I think other players got hurt on it. I remember looking at it once, and I was like, damn, that was a good team. It just got hit hard. But stacks are, they're important for sure, bro, but just make sure you're able to chew gum and walk at the same time before. I'm not saying you aren't. But if anybody's watching out there, before you start trying to deploy stacks and not really making your teams good first, you got to be able to master the art of manipulating the best ball ADP, failing in a couple drafts, not getting what you want, but trying again and then getting what you want, not running away from strategies that don't land just because they didn't land. You got to realize every draft will be different. And there's sometimes where I deploy a strategy I really like. I don't force anything. Best player available is the number 1 strategy that guides everything I do. I don't force anything. I don't draft a position ever. I draft a player. But sometimes I'll be like, damn, I love this spot. I can usually get this. I'm going to go ahead and continue to try and attempt this. I'm going to do it again and again and again. And so essentially, I try it. I'll see you later. I'll try it again and I'll land it. I'll nail it. I'll have exactly what I need, and it'll be an even better team than the one. So hold on 1 second. Let me make my selection here. I'm on the clock. I don't have any stacks going right now. I don't force it, and I'm not as concerned with it in a week 17 cumulative scoring, format like this one. This is week 17. There's still stack advantages, but I'm just saying I'm not as concerned about it. So right now I've got 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 2 quarterbacks, and I'm going to go Keon Coleman, I guess. There we go. What other question do you have there, Dan? Or Travis wanted to say something. Travis, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask him, was Daniel, were you talking about just strictly QB wide receiver stacks?
I think any of them, like Smitty was saying, being fluid as possible, I guess, but, more from the bench outlook, are there anybody you would target who could come up?
Pearsall and Debo, Pearsall and Ayuk. That's a really cool, weird stack that you do. I very much like Luke Musgrave and Kraft as your second tight end, and then you're grabbing someone bigger than that earlier on, and then you've got that Green Bay tight end lockdown, and it gives you 3 tight ends, and I think it's an advantage to have 3. That's kind of a unique thing I've been deploying a lot lately.
Do
you think it's safe to then go there? My bad.
Hold on a second. Look at this team too. What in the hell are they doing? Wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. I've never seen 6 in a row before.
James McCaffrey too.
What are you doing?
Doesn't like the running back.
What are you doing?
He took the running back.
What are you doing back there? A whole lot of receivers. Whole lot of receivers. What are you doing?
Oh, God. You said that's to stack the Ivy Pro.
Mm-hmm. You like Zamir White or I'm going to go Zamir White, I think.
I don't think you're going to get 300 million.
Daniel or somebody's got a massive echo or bad connection or something. I don't know, man. You can stack anything. It's a tough question to answer. I mean, everything's case by case with me, bro. You know, like, what's your team look like? Do you force it? I mean, people actually take like this team 2. They're not taking the best player available ever. They're taking just wide receivers. Maybe they took the best player available at number 2 overall. Maybe in their mind they took the best player available at number 23. But at some point, I can promise you they haven't. It was probably at least in round 3, 4, or 5. And it's like, you can't. At some point, you got to take value. You can't just take a position. You can't just be like, the odds are if I get this many receivers, you gotta nail a whole lot of other things, you know, to make that work. And not to mention, is T. Higgins worthy, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans? And I like Mike Evans, but he's older, right? Like, are those the guys that you're going to war with, like, over this strategy? You know, it'd be one thing if it was like Lamb, Debo, which I like. I love that. You could even say Mike Evans. You know, how many 1,000-yard seasons is this guy going to have? So maybe you go to war with CeeDee Lamb, Debo, Evans. Like, if you had maybe Dell, and then on the next Jaden Reed maybe, and then the next one it was like, I mean, at that point I'm still not doing it, but I just mean, like, you had some players that you felt are going to be like low-end wide receiver ones, and people didn't know they were coming. I'm not saying Zay isn't good. I like Zay Flowers a lot. I do like him. He is a 1 for his team. I like him, but I don't know. T. Higgins, Worthy, like, those were unnecessary. You want to go straight 4 wide receivers? Be my guest. But the amount of talent left on the board when you could just replace Zay with somebody like Hollywood Brown, who went at freaking 61 overall. You know, Hollywood Brown over Zay Flowers is a much better move if it means that you get to get that one player that he no longer has an option to get. Smitty, I wanted Coleman, but not at the top of the 6. I'm sorry, Rock Out. I know you're getting sniped like crazy. It is what it is, pal. We're in a dangerous territory of snipage. Daniel, you got another question?
No, I that was good. That's it.
Yeah, I'll have tons of, like, you know, best ball strategies. My next best ball video is gonna be the running back. I'll do a hero running back best ball strategy video. None of these are the number one strategy you deploy. We're always doing it. I'm trying to give people my favorite strategies, and they tend to be hero running back, where you're drafting one running back. Typically in round 1, you can do a hero from round 2 strategy, and then you don't draft running back for a while. So you're just drafting the one. That's an awesome approach. It's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
It works so well. Hold on one second. Let me just draft real quick. Hold on.
Yep.
I got Achan, Benson, and Zamir. I had to take Benson because I know Ray G is gonna grab him. There's 100,000% chance he was gonna grab him, so I just had to get him early.
Crafty.
I forget what I was gonna say.
I was just gonna ask you,
hero.
because you actually started covering part of it. If you could just go over, like, take a quick 1 or 2 minutes to explain why you don't have to start with, like, 3 wide receivers early, because James Young in the chat, I'm not calling him out alone, I see people talk about it all the time, says because you have to start 3 wide receivers, and you usually have to start a wide receiver in the flex, so having a bunch of top flight wide receivers is a cheat code.
You usually don't have to.
That's not always the case.
Yeah, that's not correct. You usually don't have to start wide receiver as your flex. There's a little bit of a statistical advantage of having an RB in your flex last year, but that changes from year to year, and it changes with the depth of the position. So the problem is people are spitting out this garbage content, in my opinion, on you need to do this with the positions, and they're going off of last year's players. And if you were to do that with the tight end position or give somebody any sort of advice around the tight end position off of last year, that's really bad advice because the tight end position looks nothing like it did last year this year. It's the deepest we've ever seen it. The quarterbacks are the deepest we've ever seen it. The running backs, this is such a deep, like from top to bottom. Even the wide receivers and running backs, everything feels super deep this year. There's no way to extrapolate things from year to year. I'm going to take Jameson. And so at the end of the day, you got to pick what's best for your draft strategy. So there is statistical data that shows that I'm just throwing these numbers out. Let's say out of the top 10 finishers of Best Ball Mania, like who cracked the top 10 or who cracked the top 20. Let's say 45% of them had wide receiver as their start. And let's say 10% or 15% had running back. And you go through all those percentages. That significant percentage of wide receiver, just because it's leading doesn't mean that you would have done well going wide receiver when your forte is late wide receiver sleeper drafting. Like, everybody needs to draft to their skills. If you go drafting based on someone's data that says this guy won, the guy that won it last year went wide receiver. Well, what about the guy that would have annihilated him that lost AR5 and lost, Achan for a string of games and this, and this? If he didn't have all those injuries, that running back strategy would have crushed everybody. Some of that data you don't have. So you can draft until your heart's content off of somebody's spreadsheet that says that wide receiver was slightly more advantageous. Or if you take 3 wide receivers in the top 5 rounds, you had a 80% or 80% of the people in the top 10 had that. Well, guess what everybody's doing now? Everybody's hearing that this is what you need to do, and everybody's deploying it. And now this freeway of people that was going relatively fast, it was getting congested, is now bumper to bumper. And the people that are going the other direction have clear sailing. No one's going RB. And to anybody's questioning of, you still need to start 3 wide receivers. No shit. Like, of course I know you need to start 3 wide receivers. This is not a new surprise to me. The thing about it, though, is if I land my wide receivers, if I feel like I can hang with anybody, let's say Keon Coleman is an absolute monster, breakout candidate, he has 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, then I'm getting so much value there. It was advantageous to go after different positions because I landed my sleeper wide receivers. If Jameson Williams has a monster year and has this 8 touchdown, 1,100 yard season, then all of a sudden I'm exploding. Like, you got to land your picks. That's what it comes down to. Doesn't matter what strategy you deploy. Doesn't matter what you heard over here. Doesn't matter if the data said you had a 20% more chance of making it to the finals had you gone wide receiver, when you don't even know if you would have been able to deploy that strategy as good as you would have a running back strategy, which would have had you in that statistical data that would have helped the running back case. That's all I'm saying. There's no doubt about it that there is data that suggests that going wide receiver early can be advantageous, but there's no data that correlates or considers how much each position is changing from year to year. It's all off of last year's stats. That's the bottom line. And I promise you that walking into next year, maybe the next year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen right away, you're going to have a lot of rogue best ball warriors out there doing what we're already doing, which is talking about going against the grain might create an advantage that's even more apparent now that everybody's consuming to a massive degree more best ball content this year. Everybody's copying everybody's strategy. So we'll see what happens. I'm on the clock real quick. Hold on. Let me just grab somebody. I got A.D. Mitchell. I'm going to grab a nice little upside crew. I've got Jameson, I've got A.D. Mitchell, I've got Keon Coleman, and I've got Jamar Chase at the top. Let me go to this caller real quick. Oh, he hung up already. Let me go to Marsman Rock Out. What's up, my guy?
Rock out.
Yeah, between Nico Collins and Dell, who would Diggs take out if he had a good year?
Who would Diggs take out if he had a good year?
Like the most.
Yeah.
Not saying he'll take them out, but
that's tough to say, bro. That is tough to say.
yeah, kind of.
I would probably say that the problem is it's hard to dissect this. What will happen is if one of these wide receivers comes off the field too much, but they're gonna run a lot of, 3 wide receiver sets, and you're gonna see a lot of work for everybody. The good news is that Tank Dell and Stroud have such a good rapport. That I feel like I don't think it's gonna be Dell that gets knocked out of the fun house. I think that Diggs being older, he's gonna maybe get banged up. Something's gonna happen, and he's also not gonna be quite as motivated. I think by mid-season than he is right now. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but the fact that he voided his other years and he's playing on a 1-year deal, I don't know what he's doing that for. I don't know why you would do that. I mean, he's banking on himself, right? But he's going to get ultra frustrated if they're not overfeeding him, and he's banking on himself because then he can't do anything about it. He can't take control of his own destiny. And if he's got a 1-year deal and this team's like, hey, yeah, our focus is really developing, Dell, so we're going to rotate these guys, then, I mean...
Oh, you're up.
Yeah. I'm going to go Jalen Wright here. Just cuff my Achan. So I got Achan, Zamir White, Benson, and Wright. I've got Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts, McBride, Stroud, bully quarterback, Keon Coleman. I've drafted better teams for sure. I mean, it's also hard when you do like a bully quarterback approach, which I knew, but I wanted to try it anyway, when you're in like a snipe situation because there's so many players that get snagged that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, what else you got? Let me go over to Daniel. Daniel, what else you got, bro?
I don't think I got anything much. I'm just out here enjoying the adult juice. Thanks for answering, Smitty. You have a good night.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Glad to have you on the Patreon, bro.
Yes, sir. I'll be looking forward to it.
All right, later, bro. Okay. These teams, some of these teams are pretty interesting. I definitely don't like that 2 team. That 2 team failed miserably. That one slot by Ray G, I like it. You ended up having some pretty damn good wide receivers. I mean, Amari Cooper and Terry McLaurin, I wasn't as thrilled as I wanted to be. And I think you would have got better receivers if you weren't in a sniping situation. But to pull off the Watson, JSN, you still got Bowers and Goddard, kind of bully tight end. That's good. And Dotson, Eckler, it's a really, really good squad. You ended up coming through pretty good. Shub with Bijan, Ayuk, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Roman Dunze, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't like that, bro. I don't like that.
Who took 6 receivers?
That's just too much. Breece Hall, London, Cooper Kupp, Diggs, Jaden Reed, Cook, Burrow, Ferguson, Javonte. Also don't love the way that turned out. Jahmyr Gibbs, Olave, DK, Isaiah Pacheco, Kyle Pitts, Keenan Allen, Ramondre. It's pretty solid. Puka, Rockout's got Puka, Jonathan Taylor, Jacobs, Devontae Smith, Christian Kirk. I'm not in love with Christian Kirk, but he's pretty steady. Kenneth Walker, love that value. Dak Prescott, great late value at quarterback. Jonathan Brooks, fantastic pick. Good job. I like your team a lot. Superfish, A.J. Brown, Saquon, Patrick Mahomes, Tank Dell. Love this. Rashad White, Monty, Jordan Love, Connor, Lockett. Nice squad. Garrett Wilson, Marvin, Travis Kelce, Kincaid, Kyler. So no running backs. Then you go Hollywood. Like, I still love the team, though. And then Zach Moss and Ford. Intriguing running back stable. I mean, and you got Blake Corum. It's interesting for sure. I like the team a lot. It's a very, very unique build, and you're very, very you're going very crazy zero RB, but it really looks nice. I just wonder, like, who was the RB you could have got? I mean, hey, maybe Najee. I maybe would have went Najee over Hollywood, but man, it's still a fun team. I'm on the clock. Hold on. Let's see here. Let's go. Man, I'm going to time out. I'm taking a lot of like big, risky players here. I think I don't know what it is about Ricky Pearsall, but I just have a feeling he's not going to be on a bench for very long. He's too good. Something's going to happen. Something has to happen.
Yeah.
I just have a very, very strong feeling. Great. I just have a very strong feeling that they move on. They move on from Debo somehow in a trade. I just think something's going to happen. But we'll see.
I saw you. I forget where I was reading it, that Pearsall is reminding people close to the team a lot of like Ayuk, obviously more than Debo, but just that he does all the little things good, and he's just polished already, and I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, he looks really strong. And his route running is just so on point. He's such an elusive runner. Just such a scary, just a massively talented route runner. And this is all pre-draft. Like, we liked him a lot. He was flirting with that 5'6" wide receiver territory. Let's see, I'm going to go Ben Sinnott here.
Nice pick.
Dreams of
That's my
Pearsall.
guy.
Space Beast says he had dreams of Pearsall going nuts. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Yeah, not my favorite team. I mean, look, you have good ones and bad ones. I don't, I always tell people I don't always love my team. People think I always love my team. I don't. This is a good team. I don't mind it, but I'm not detoured from the strategy. I truly believe that if I deployed this again in a non, like-minded environment, I would have a much better wide receiver option at the Keon Coleman pick and the Zamir White pick for running back. So, yeah. I don't know. Like, Najee would have fallen. Najee's not going at 68. He would have fallen, and I would have probably taken Najee. I would have probably taken I would have got Ford later, Zach Moss later. I wouldn't have to take Benson so early, like all these guys were. I would have probably taken Jaden Daniels and had a little bit of a triple bully quarterback situation going on. I don't know. I would have done some different things.
I just want to reiterate, just because we're talking in the chat too, about like what I'm talking about, and I think what you're talking about too is you don't necessarily value running backs over wide receivers, but like there's different ways to draft that can be successful. And
yeah, no, I see.
Someone,
yeah, I see. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Like I said, don't be a slave to all this best ball data out there.
Right.
You use some of it as a guideline. There's nothing wrong with using some of it as a guideline, and if something piques your interest or you want to go with it, go for it. I'm not trying to tell people how to draft.
No, I know. I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple people trying to tell people what to do in the chat, and don't listen to it. Just don't listen to it. It's not what I'm trying to tell people, and what obviously some people aren't listening and hearing, is that you're taking the best approach not only for you and what you're capable of doing. You have to know yourself. You can't go wide receiver if that's not your forte. Doesn't matter what the data says. If that's not your forte, you got to get better at it, sure. But it's not like you're also not going to choose to do any of that, because you need to let the draft fall and decide for you where to go. You can't go in with a preconceived notion about what you're exactly going to do. Anybody that tells you that should not be listened to. That's garbage advice. Like Travis said, you can't be a slave to this data and all of this content that everyone says you got according to the metrics from last year that have nothing to do with the current player pool that we're dealing with, the depth of it. Maybe you see something that other people don't. Like we see Najee and Zamir White and Jerome Ford and all these running backs so late. We love that. We don't mind going early wide receiver when it presents itself the opportunity to go zero RB and hero RB. What some of these people in the chat that are just, I don't know what they're saying, don't understand is we do videos on all these different strategies, and we'll be doing a hero and zero running back video very soon. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're up.
Yeah, I'm looking. I need.
Don't try not to snipe me.
I'm trying, but I'm gonna get in trouble here because I'm gonna time out. I had to cue somebody. Damn it! That's right. I had someone queued.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, I had him queued, so I had to let him take him. There's always a lot of like, I want to tell everybody what to do, people that wander into best ball drafts.
Yeah.
All right, now I got it nice.
I mean, just do your own thing, you know. Do your best to, you know, have a strategy, but like if you go in and say I have to get this position, then somewhere along the way you're gonna screw your draft up.
Yeah.
You force a position.
I can't wait until there's well, no, actually, I don't want anybody to start changing their tune. I like that not a lot of people talk about best ball the way that we do. Okay, damn. Guess I'll go Justin Fields here. Think he can be a league winner.
Hey, Smitty, who you think's gonna be the best receiver in Denver?
I don't know. I don't know.
Even though the back,
I kind of feel like that's a place that
Franklin, man,
that everybody just you can't predict. You don't know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh yeah, I forgot Mims was there too.
I mean, you got Frank. I mean, it's probably going to be Franklin because it's not necessarily up to Sean Payton or anybody other than like who's Nick's going to want to target, who's going to throw to. So Franklin's probably my pick, but I don't know. I kind of feel like everyone's just going to be mediocre. But I like Nick's a lot. I really do. I really do.
I still take Sutton just because I think Franklin isn't going to be like a 8 or 10 target type wide receiver, but I'm not saying he won't be good.
Yeah.
Just for next year. I like Knicks too.
Yeah,
I actually think he landed in the right spot too.
I take Franklin a lot, like in the deep in the draft, but I don't take very many Broncos at all. I mean, I'll take Knicks and like a super flex if I need another QB, but I will not take anybody else. I'm not taking the running backs as of now. I would consider, Javonte if the tide changed, but I don't feel like it's gonna. I don't sense that it will.
That sucks.
I can't stand the way Sean Payton is. It almost feels like, and maybe Travis can attest to this. It almost feels like Sean Payton is like Bill Belichick in terms of everybody's thinking about his past. He's got to be good, right? Still got to be good, right? He's going to do good, right? He's going to he's going to turn it around. Something's going to happen. Or is he past his prime potentially? Is it maybe the perfect storm of player and his decision making? Sure, his coaching, yeah. But if things aren't set up perfectly, is Sean Payton that guy? Maybe he's not. He's no longer that guy. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we're seeing a trend on the whole in the NFL with these older coaches that were good. That, like you said, if everything lines up, some of them might be good for a couple more years. But we had Belichick, we had Ron Rivera, we had Pete Carroll, all kind of went by the wayside. Maybe Mike McCarthy in Dallas could be on his way out. Tomlin could be on his way out. I think it's changing of the guard is just starting to happen. And the game's passing some of these guys by.
Yeah, I mean the game evolves so much that it's like
right. That's what it was. It's not, These guys didn't become bad coaches overnight. They're good coaches. They're just not good for the game that has taken place right now.
Yeah, possibly. Definitely feels like a bit of that is the reason why. Yeah, and I'm not saying. I'm not suggesting that Sean Payton can't turn it around, but I certainly wasn't impressed with what he did in Denver, and I very much question his decision making around that whole Russell Wilson thing.
It seems like another trend is that they're going with the head coach, and then if it's a defensive guy, then there's a lot of focus on the offensive coordinator. Yep. It's almost like a second head coach type thing.
It's a formula.
Vice versa,
It's
that. Yeah.
I mean, we
talked copycat league.
We talked about it all offseason. It's the new formula. It's the absolute new winning formula. Let's go. Hold on one second. Let me just make this pick real quick. This sucks because
maybe one more running back or tight end.
Let me look at my bye weeks real quick. This is tough. Because I know Ray G's sitting down there. I'm just gonna take him early. I don't care. I'm taking a bunch of reaches in this draft just because I want this to be like my home run team. I've got Ricky Parasol. I've got a bunch of rookies. We'll see. Jalen Wright cuffed.
I wish Ron was in here right now. The chat. I was saying. I think when I said Tomlin could be on his way out, the chat doesn't think so. They think Tomlin's not going anywhere.
Well, it depends on what happens.
I mean, if they win, he'll stay. But
yeah,
I think if they float around 500, they're going to make a change.
If he fails, then hold on one second. Let me just grab another receiver real quick. I'm going to go.
He'll be a hot coach if you leave.
I'm trying to strike gold. Bellinger, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you never know, but Bellinger, no.
I like Theo Johnson. I think there could be something there. I mean, again, it's a quarterback situation.
But. If Tomlin fails miserably with what they built, then he could be on a hot seat, no doubt. But I mean, it's hard to fire a guy that's won like he has, and I just think they would probably get kicked around, and then it wouldn't happen. But then
like he has, they've got. What does he have? He has one Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, but I could see him
I'd say they underachieved.
Yeah, if they mismanage. If Arthur Smith gets in the way, then he could really screw up this year. I mean, Arthur Smith could definitely get in the way. Dial in if anybody's got a question. Dial in.
So you don't think there's much of Theo Johnson either, huh? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be like a superstar right away, but I mean, really good combine.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Who?
I was just saying. So you don't think there's much to Theo Johnson, the tight end?
Oh, maybe. I mean, with Waller,
he's a superstar right away, but he's a really good athlete.
With Waller big. Out now, I mean, maybe, yeah.
I like him more than Bellinger.
Yeah.
6'6", 264. That's a monster. Ran a 4.57. That's crazy. No, I don't know if he can play the position or not, but good athlete.
Yeah, Rashee Rice. Some of you asking about Rashee Rice. I honestly don't know what's going to happen.
Hard to know. It's like at first, before you had all the information, it was like you don't expect the NFL to do much, and then you see everything that comes out, and it's like, well, he's got to get half a season, but then as time goes on, it's like the narrative in the media, falls away, and you wonder how long they can push it off for, and it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. Is there like a court date or anything he has before the season?
There's still a lot that needs to happen. We're just waiting on more information, but I have a feeling things start moving along with the Rashee Rice stuff very soon. But he's gonna, to my knowledge and what I'm hearing, and again, I don't know if that's gonna change. It definitely could. That he's looking like he's gonna probably have to. Let's see. I'm gonna go Zach Ertz maybe to go with my Ben Sinnott, who has a different bye week than Trey McBride, and then I've kind of cuffed that situation. I'm going to probably do that. That he's going to have to plead guilty to a couple of significant charges that will trigger an NFL reaction of a year-long suspension. Like, meaning, like, he's going to have to fall on the sword on his own case in order to stay out of prison. There's no, like, oh, we're going to let him go on this situation because he said sorry and because he's in the spotlight. This is in Texas. It has nothing to do with the Kansas City Chiefs trying to figure out a way out of this. And, if anything, probably if there was corruption at the football level, there would be a rival, rival-based decision. But I think this is kind of eventually will be out of the control of anybody. Because if he's pleading guilty to some serious charges to stay out of prison, then he's, it's going to come down to that where he's like, wait a minute, if I plead guilty to this, I'm going to be out for a year, and they're going to go, Rashee, you got to stay out of prison. You can't worry about that. You can come back from this, but you have to stay out of prison. You can't. These aren't going to be, knocked down to these, minor misdemeanors. You injured people. Even if some say that it was, some delayed, injury reporting and all that, it's still on the books as injuring these individuals. 6-car pileup, abandoning the scene. Those charges can be added later as well. This isn't something where the charges that are on the table have to stay. They're going to bring those later, I think, to rain down hell on them and make them overwhelmed and unable to prepare for all of the different charges. Like, they're bringing charges, right? And then ones they know they can win, and then they're going to bring more and pile it up and overwhelm so that, he's like, damn, I guess this is a losing battle. I can't beat this. So it's probably going to be pretty bad. I already reviewed these teams. It's been a long day. I'm probably not going to go through all that again, but I appreciate everybody being here. Travis and Rock Out. Do you guys have Rock? Let me go to Rock Out first. Rock Out. Any final thoughts, my guy?
No, I'm good. Appreciate it.
I'll be back tomorrow. Go watch the video I have up right now on, if anybody hasn't, on the top 10 running back rankings, and then I put up a cuff video. I put up an ADP ranking video. So we have 3 uploads that were not live streams. They were premiere live streams, but go check those out. I'll be doing a lot more of those moving forward, in addition to the Monday through Friday 8 p.m. show, which we do every single Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm live whenever big news breaks. I'm live most midnights, and I'm going to start uploading more and more one-off videos like that. Travis, you got anything else?
Yeah, just quick. You think Pacheco's do you think he gets as much receiving work? Do you think it goes up, or because he made a nice jump last year, and I'm wondering, do they keep throwing to him like that? Because I think he ended up with like 40-something receptions, which was nice to add to his running.
Yeah, again, I'm not avoiding Pacheco, but it's very, very important that people at least keep in mind that this was not a situation where anything is guaranteed. Like like think about it. Like, as much as we want to say no, they've been using Pacheco, they haven't. This is the first year they used him, and remember, he was a moon man, and we told everybody that Pacheco was going to be the guy, and we got a lot of pushback on it.
Yeah.
Remember that? I don't know if people remember. We were one of the few people that were pumping this guy up, saying he's a moon man, and he started off
weeks too.
And he started off, bad, if I remember correctly. Let me find that. Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, well, he started slow, and then
very slow.
And then one week they said they were starting him, and they quote unquote started him, but then barely played him too. So a bunch of people got pissed off and dropped him after that too. And then I think it was like a week or two later he took off.
Okay,
good.
So here's the problem with Pacheco is you look at this situation and you say, okay, so coming off of last year, we thought there was momentum. He'd be the guy. How does he start out? Exactly like the Chiefs do. Not what they were doing when they ended and concluded. He was running back 30, running back 29, and people said we were full of crap, that this guy was not the guy. He was not going to be the main starter, and he wasn't. To jump off week 1, 2, 3. Pretty decent week 3, I guess. 12 overall for running backs. Then he was 6. Then he was 15, 14, 11, 39, and running back 34. Bye week, running back 24. Yeah. Really, weeks 1 through 11 was a little bit of a disappointing, start. And like you said, people were cutting him. They were like, "This isn't the guy."
Oh, actually, I was thinking of the year before too. Actually.
Okay, so
when he was a rookie. But.
So then where he turned it on was week 12, week 13. Didn't play 28 2. But at the end of the day, he still was very sporadic. But the thing I would caution people away from is that, again, everyone pushed back on our saying that he was going to be the lone guy. They don't use one back. They keep, rotating him. This is, hard to accept as a reality that it's locked and loaded. And the fact that, every single year for the last, handful of years, what we think they're going to do at RB the next season, they don't do it, at least out the gate. And Damian Williams was repeatedly really good at the end of the year in the Super Bowl, and then they come in and they wouldn't use him. McKinnon, amazing the year prior, and then came in and they didn't use him. It's not one thing, it's another. McKinnon, not this year, but the year prior I believe he was the number 1 running back. God, I remember that McKinnon board we had. He was the number 1 running back. I think twice, if I remember correctly, in the final 6 weeks, he was the number 1 running back.
Yeah.
Twice. And he had, I think it was 6 touchdowns receiving in the last 4 or 5 games. I don't remember exactly. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. McKinnon was one of the best running backs in fantasy football, period. Top 5 running back the final 6 weeks of the year. And what do they do? Walking into the 2020, what was that? 2022, I guess?
2022. Yeah.
They didn't use him. And then so...
Well, and it's... I was going to say it's funny, too, because Pacheco had the strong end of the season, and then throughout the playoffs, he was really good. I mean, he had a touchdown 3 out of the 4 games in the playoffs. He had at least 15 carries. He had 24 carries twice. And so he ended on a real high note, But I just caution that, in terms of the, pass catching, they did start to sneak Clyde Edwards-Helaire back in there here and there, nothing big. But I wonder, do they still think he's got something? Do they, I mean, they didn't bring anyone else in, though. That's the thing. That's where I have faith, is that there isn't anyone else that we know of.
Yeah, it's hard to know. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Is like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying to avoid him. You're talking to the person that pumped him up more than anybody you can find on the internet that's creating content. I promise you, there's no one that liked Pacheco more than we did. But it doesn't mean that we didn't weather through some of this like garbage, of, okay, we know he's the guy. Why is this taking so long? And they do that every year. And then, who ended up playing well? Pacheco. Pacheco had a touchdown in, let's see here. He didn't have he didn't have the greatest Super Bowl game. It wasn't bad though. It was let's see here. He had 59 yards rushing, 33 receiving.
Yeah.
And he had 6 receptions. So actually that was not too bad. That was pretty good. That was how many fantasy points did he get? 12.2 whatever. But the 3 playoff games prior to that, 1 touchdown and 89 yards, 97 touchdowns and 97 touchdowns. 97 yards and a touchdown and 68 yards and a touchdown. Really not a lot of receiving work. That's kind of the problem sometimes.
Right.
Is they don't throw to him like they really could.
Out of nowhere here. Yeah.
Which is your question that you had from the beginning. But I would just say I would just
That
say
was
this.
my main question.
I would just say this. I would not draft Pacheco in 100 leagues out of 100. I would not draft Pacheco in even 40% of my leagues and have this monster share of them. I would definitely take him where Rock Out, can you mute your phone? I don't know what it is about your phone, but it just, the reverb, it somehow must, I don't know if it's the audio just from the receiver part going straight into the mic, but it just, for some reason it does. Some phones do it. I don't know why. But I truly believe that he's a talent and he's amazing and he runs harder than anybody, but man, he could get hurt too. He could run himself into the ground. I don't know. I'm just saying, take him in spots. Don't overdraft him. He went in this draft. Where did he go? Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, while you're pulling it up, one thing I'll say is, like, I don't feel very comfortable if he's my running back 1. I mean, in a best ball, you can work around it, but, like, if I was in a redraft league, I wouldn't feel great if he was my RB1. I know he could definitely be an RB1, but I feel a lot better with a lot of other guys.
Yeah. Terminator.
He's unpredictable to me.
Dan Woolsey and Terminator, thank you guys for joining the Patreon, by the way. Anyway, well, I don't know. I don't have anything in front of me right now. I'm gonna take off, but appreciate both of you. Rock Out. Anything final, bro? I didn't mean to make you mute, but anything else?
Yeah. Can I give you a mock I did earlier today?
Sure.
It was like 11 rounds, let's say. First, it was a super flex. All right. Josh Allen, Gibbs, Tyrod Williams, Debo, DK, Neighbors, Harris, Kirk Cousins, Coleman, Goddard, and Mitchell.
Man, where's Penix Jr.?
I don't know.
You don't have him. That was a super flex, you said? Man, if you had Penix Jr. with Cousins on that, that'd be dangerous, bro. That'd be
he was way down there.
Yeah, I would have.
It was only 11 rounds.
Oh, it was a mock. That's right. I'm sorry. And now I'm remembering you said that. But yeah, deploy that in best ball in the super flex and get Penix Jr. And I'm sorry. Yeah, don't take Penix Jr. around 11. I forgot you said mock. But in best ball, you deploy that. That's pretty damn good. Superflex, I believe Superflex was my highest finishing team last year too, and like I love Superflex in terms of the best ball contest, and I don't know, like I need to create more Superflex content because I do enjoy it more and more. But that was my highest finishing team. I had a couple. I forget what it was, 1,500 or 1,000 or whatever that I got on one of my best team. I was at like, I want to say I was at like 13th place, and then Christian McCaffrey and Kamara both sat out the entire second half. And I was just, I mean, I when you get that far into it too, it's not like everybody has the same players. So, in an example of like if Christian Watson were to catch a 70-yard touchdown bomb and you're in the finals, you're in that final week, you're used to seeing things change, like in weeklies. If one player, let's say Jamar Chase catches a 50-yard touchdown and you're in 13th place, you can drop to like 2,000, like in weekly winners like that. But in when you're in the Week 17 championship round and it's narrowed down to several hundred teams, you might see a guy like Christian Watson catch a 70-yard touchdown and nobody moves. Like maybe a couple people move, and it's weird because you're so used to the, oh my God, everybody's playing in this. If something happens, it's over, like, but so being like in like 13th place or wherever, I think it was right around there, and you have Christian McCaffrey and Kamara both sit out literally the second half. Like I could have easily won. I could have easily won first place, no doubt in my mind, had those guys balled out. Granted, somebody probably had Christian McCaffrey as well, but did they have both of them? Both of them played well. So that one kicked me in the nutsack. I still won like I think it was 1,500 in that league. But I did drop, I think, to like 30th place or 20th place because of that. I just saw myself like fall, and I was like, son of a bitch. But it was a fun year. It was exciting. Last year was exciting. I had two teams that were dancing in that range. Still took home several thousand, but I didn't lock into one of the top 10 spots in those tournaments. It sucked. All right, appreciate you, broskies.
All right, see it.
Yeah, just real quick, if anyone wants to, there's 6 spots left in Decker dropped a $3 slow draft in the over on the Patreon. So
okay,
if anyone wants to join, go over there and click the link.
All right, bro, appreciate you.
Thanks, Smitty.
Later.
All right.
Bye.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm live Monday through Friday, every single Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm also live when big news breaks, and I'm live most midnights. We go live most midnights to do drafting here on Underdog, so make sure you hit that Underdog link. The link is pinned in the live chat. The link is also our code Smitty. Also gets it done, 50% match on your first deposit. And then don't forget the Patreon link is pinned, or the Patreon link is in the description of the video. And let me just see if I can grab that link also right now and drop it. So yeah, that link is right here. I'll drop it in the live chat. And if anybody wants to jump into the Patreon and become a part of our live chat community, do it live. Hit the link. See you over there. Appreciate you. Don't forget the first 240 something people, or no, first 200 people. Probably by midnight tomorrow night, we might still have some spots. After that, I'm not sure. I can't promise it though. First 200 people by midnight tomorrow will get a spot in the 240 plus man league. So do it live. Smitty, I wanted Coleman, but not. Oh, this is an old super chat. Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you. Later, Daniel. Thanks for joining the Patreon.